and welcome back to our channel. So today's video, we're going to get right into it. We're going to be talking about some summer things that we've got. We're going to be diving right into life jacket fitting. We're also going to be diving into talking about hitting a SUP board with your pup and how to do that appropriately. And then also what you should be doing after drying them, dealing with the hot weather and such. So let's turn it right over. We're gonna jump right into some life jacket fitting.
So to start with, we're gonna take our life jacket and we're gonna unbuckle every buckle. Then we're gonna take this life jacket and we're gonna place it over our dog's back. Make sure your dog is standing. This is very important to make it fit properly. Center that life jacket on your dog's back, ensuring that it sits close to the back of the neck. All right, so you basically want it right up to the base of the neck. If it has a chin strap, you want to make sure that you adjust that and fasten it. Then you're going to take the buckles underneath the belly and all those flaps and buckle those right up. You're going to adjust those flaps and buckles to make it a snug fit. You want to make sure it's secure. And then no more than 2 fingers between your dog and the life vest. Ensure that the life vest doesn't come all the way down to the dog's tail. They need that tail to use as a rudder in the water, and they use it to swim with. So make sure that that's not covered. We say about 2 to 3 inches is good. The other thing is make sure that you let your dog run around a little bit with the life jacket on so you can see how it's shifting and if you need to tighten it.
Stand-up paddleboarding with your dog is so much fun, and they're going to love it if they love water. It's difficult when they don't like water, but for me, my dogs loved it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sit on the board in shallow water. So we have some really good beach fronts in our area. So you can actually put your board that your dog can just roam around it. You want them to explore the board, learn how to get on and off it, and make it fun. Make it a game for them to get on and off the board and enjoy their time. So you're just going to sit on the board. If that means they're sitting and cuddling with you for a little bit, we start with that. Next, you're going to stand next to your board with your dog on the board. You're going to start moving it around the water and just get them used to the board moving. It's going to be a weird feeling that they're not used to because they're floating. It's very scary for some, but the more you do it, the more comfortable they're going to be. Next, you're going to stand on the board with your dog and just get them used to that position and position them to what's comfortable for you. If you have a larger dog, you're going to want your dog maybe between your legs or just ahead of you. It gets quite difficult when your dog is behind you, just in case something happens or they're about to fall off. It's not natural for you to move backwards. It's easier for you to be able to just quickly reach down, grab them, or adjust them. Next, you're going to start paddling in shallow water. So this is a spot that your dog can still jump off and touch bottom and you. So just moving around very slowly, get them used to moving in shallow water. Next is just those extra little bits in shallow water. So this will be coming up on an edge or simulating falling off with your dog, just to make sure that it's not scary for them. If you fall off the board, it's fine. You cheer, you say yay, and then you get back on. So really working those edges, working to simulate waves and stuff like that, just makes it easier later on. The next part is deep water practice. So this is where I always add a PFD for my dog. Any time that my dog is going to be over the point that it has to swim is where I add a PFD. So the next part would be going into deeper water where your dog has to swim, but you still have the ability to touch bottom. So this is where you also practice your dog falling off, getting back on. Practice having your dog fall off, you stay on your board and be able to get your dog back on the board. If you're not capable of doing it at this point, this is where you can then get off your board and get your dog back on in a safer position. Don't just jump into deep water, have your dog fall off the board, and then you're not capable of pulling it back on, because that just gets scary when you're now potentially both in the water and you can't get up back on your board. Another safety tip, if you fall off your board with your dog, make sure you get back on your board first, then help your dog. It's a lot easier to help your dog once you're back and have a little more leverage than trying to basically clear press a dog over your head to get it back on the board when you're treading water. Yeah, those are some easy tips and tricks to get your dog onto a board. We had fun teaching our dogs. 2 out of 4 of them at the time loved it. The other 2 didn't love it. And by fluke, my dog that hated water loved the idea of floating on top of water.
If you get to certain steps, like we've detailed, if you find that the dog all of a sudden has a retreating moment or an unsure moment, maybe it's time to just take a step back, go over that last step again, and then go forward. So there's nothing wrong with having to dial it back and then try to approach whatever's next step it is, especially wanting to have that water safety well in mind. Now, we're going to move on to, once you're done that paddle, what are we doing after with our dogs? This is usually an area where people are like, oh, okay, now we have a sopping wet mess, dependent on how furry your fur dog is. Or if it just be, okay, I'm going to dry myself off and then just toss the dog in the car. We want to make sure you take a moment here to really address their bodies as well. And this is where we're going to talk about some proper drying. And as well, we may get into what can cause hot spots as well.
All right, so hot spots and proper drying go hand in hand. If you do not dry your dog properly, the chances of getting a hot spot is definitely higher. Some hot spots are caused by wet. They can also be caused by allergies and whatnot, but today we'll concentrate on more of the swimming and being in the water. So basically what you want to do is dry your dog thoroughly, okay? If that's hard because you have a long-coated dog, then maybe investing in a soaker robe or something like that that's really going to soak up that water. If your dog does get a hot spot, what you can do is basically just trim around it so we can let the air get at it, and then treat it with, there's lots of things out there that you could treat it with. We have silver and honey that we can treat with. We also have just colloidal silver. Those sorts of things can help. And there's also hot spot sprays as well. So there's lots of ways we can deal with that, but proper drying is the way to start.
We wanted to thank you for tuning in and watching this episode. Make sure you do give us a like if you did happen to like what you've seen in the video. Also drop a comment below and let us know if any of those things have ever happened with your dog and if you're going to be out supping this year. And don't forget to subscribe and also hit the little bell because that'll let you know when we have our next episode on. All right, tune in next time and thank you.